A study done by the Memphis Business Journal found that 80% of employees surveyed believed a lack of respect is an important factor in the workplace. 60% stated that respect has gotten worse over the years. And a separate survey done by the Human Resource Employee Engagement Statistics found that 63% of respondents plan to leave their job within 2 years if they are not respected. And a lack of disrespect is not cheap for the company. It's estimated that a settlement agreements with the cases stemming from a lack of respect, this includes OSHA, safety concerns, unlawful firing, and etc., consisted of more than $2 billion last year alone. Respect in the workplace goes a long way, and it's your job as a manager, as a leader, to guide your team to success the right way. Because at the end of the day, nobody will remember your salary or your position or your status. They'll remember how you made them feel. Now let's dive into respect. Our current work culture has evolved faster than ever. We have KPIs, we have Power BIs, we have P&Ls, we have company updates, and so on. Some of us ride the corporate ladder. We get promotions, we get bonuses, we receive benefits in the form of success that we deem correlates to what our values are. But the truth is that it only matters to us. When you view it from the lens of your team, from your subordinates, that success, those accomplishments, they don't mean anything. Your team isn't going to remember you because you held the position of a manager. They're not going to remember your title. They're not going to remember exactly what you even did. They're going to remember how you treated them as an employee. They're going to remember how you were as a manager, not that you necessarily were a manager. How they define you as that person holds more weight, holds more value than what your actual position is. We often measure our success in the form of our income, and although I do agree to some respect that that is a fair way to value it, it's only a factor. But we do lose sight of our human interaction when we do that, and we lose sight of empathy. And the reality is that for you to make a big impact, for you to have a legacy, you're not going to define that by the position that you held. You're going to define that by the respect that you give, the lessons that you teach, and the memories that you create with your team. That is what would define your legacy. And we've all met people who only care about the money, the status, the symbols. They prioritize brown nosing to their higher ups because it makes them happy. They don't stand their ground. Every time a higher up pushes on them, they budge and they say, okay, even if it's worse for the team. They never stand for the team. They never fight for the team. It's always just, okay, fine, we'll do it that way, even if it means more work. They're in it for the political game. It's the fact. And the truth is that it may just be a challenge that individual has. It's the ability to balance between ambition to succeed, to grow, to climb the corporate ladder, and empathy for those that are beneath you, for those that report to you. So here at Bridging Mindset, again, I challenge you to envision yourself on a bridge. If you're a manager, a leader, or a future manager, you want to ensure you do not walk onto one side of the bridge. You don't want to be the only person that focuses on themselves and their own success. And you don't want to be the person on the other side that never puts their foot down either and that lets their team walk all over them. You want to be in the center. You want to find that equal balance. And there's going to be times and there's going to be places where you may need to budge a little bit to one side, depending on the situation, and that's fine. But the goal is to be as much in the middle as possible. You want to be neutral. You want to get the best of both sides without leaning too much on one, on either or. But how do we actually get there? What can we all do to better ourselves in this area? The first step is very simple. You just lead with respect. Respect is a cornerstone of how people will remember you. If you treat people with dignity, regardless of their title, you have more positive feedback. You should treat individuals who clean the office the same way you would treat your own boss. You show equal respect to them. You inform your team of decisions, of changes out of respect for them, to be involved in the decision making that maybe they don't even have input or an opinion on or any sort of effect on, but out of courtesy, out of being a good leader, out of being informative, you still bring them in and you still communicate that to them. And if you're in an entry-level position, you don't have anybody up below you that reports to you, then the same goes for you. It doesn't change. You treat your higher-ups, you treat your managers, your supervisors with the same respect You're not rude, you're not blunt, and you're not brusque about the situations. The second step is to be genuine. I know sometimes you may not entirely care about an individual's life, and I will raise my hand as high as I can right now and say that I can be somebody who is pretty cold. I just personally don't care too much about people's problems, because let's be honest, we all have our own issues that we have to deal with. But I'm aware of that. I'm aware that sometimes people will report to me and they say I have X, Y, and Z problem. And I just, in the inside, I am just, I guess like emotionless could be the word. I'm just not empathetic inside. But my decisions and my exercise and what I do is to make sure I walk towards the center of the bridge. Again, right? I know that internally I may be on the colder side. So for me to get closer to the center is with my own actions. So even if I don't necessarily, feel bad, my actions are going to show, and they're going to lean towards being empathetic, towards saying, yes, you can get off early. Yes, you can work from home. Yes, it's fine to put in the PTO day, maybe last minute. Yes, it's fine to do this, X, Y, and Z. Why? Because even though I don't feel that remorse or I don't necessarily feel bad, I know that it's something that to them, in their perspective, is very important. So I'm not going to go based off my own emotions and my own perception of what they should feel, because if I was in their position, I wouldn't feel that or whatever. It's just, okay, I know I lean on this side naturally. I need to do the opposite of what I would want to do. And I'll be honest, like sometimes it does feel good, and it's just sort of reinforces my own actions to dictate that, yeah, maybe I am doing the right thing because I received some positive feedback from the employees, because I can see it, because the workflow is better, whatever it is. The results of me leaning more to one side get better, right? Because I'm getting closer to that center line, as opposed to if I already am on the colder side of the bridge and then my actions are from this extreme, where am I pushing? I'm pushing further away from the center. And I could have easily just said that I am very empathetic and that I feel bad for people and other stuff. But I want to be honest with you guys. And I think it's important when we talk about these things is for me, the speaker, be truthful to the audience, you guys, to ensure that you understand that this is always going to be a work in progress for everybody. There's always going to be something to improve on. And I have managed people since I started working, basically, at some former level as a supervisor or a manager, whatever it is. And it's a journey, it's something that you learn, and that as the experiences come, you kind of pivot yourself internally and mentally. And the more you educate yourself by like watching these types of videos, not that this is going to be like the best video ever regarding this topic. I'm sure there's others that are far better, but at least getting that input is a good step forward in my opinion. And those little understandings that you have with your employees, they go a long way, and it gives you the opportunity to keep an open mind and to engage in those types of conversations with them. So let's move on to the third step. The third step is to be consistent with your respect. Don't be somebody who is on the roller coaster, okay? You don't want to lash out on Mondays. Mondays are the days that you're most pissed off and you come in and you're screaming at everybody. And then on Wednesdays, you ask for forgiveness and you're this super nice person and now everybody loves you again. And then you buy food for everybody. And then on Friday, you lash out again. At the end of the day, you're like, hey, I'm sorry. You don't want to do that. You don't want to be somebody that is so unpredictable to your team, to the people around you, that they don't feel comfortable even talking to you. Be consistent. Be consistent every day. And let's backtrack. If you are somebody that has trouble with this, do this every day. Little acts of compassion and integrity to your team. That's all you need to do is to actively participate in giving them compassion and integrity, and you stand by your values, and you will mold yourself into those practices until they become normal. But the goal here, just like I said earlier, is to actually act the way that you want to be, even if you don't necessarily believe that. And the best part about this is if you are a manager or a leader and you have people under you, they will emulate your behavior. Meaning that If you show compassion, if you show respect, if you show integrity, guess what your team would do, not only to you, but to the other people? The same thing. Why? Because you're in charge, because they will mirror, they will emulate those people around them. And if you have somebody who is a really bad apple, a bad egg, whatever, and they're causing chaos, and you are stoic, you're respectful, you're compassionate, you help the team out, guess what? They're gonna just start getting away from that type of environment and mirroring you as the leader. Now, fair, granted, if everything's out of control and you need to put order, then yeah, there's times and place for you to be a leader, for you to take charge and say, hey, this thing ends now, we need to move on from this, you can't do this, you can't do X, Y, and Z, blah, blah, blah. You become a manager, you start doing write-ups, whatever it is. My point here is that the more compassionate you are, the more respectful you are, even when you are doing these write-ups, even when you're getting after people, if you do it in a respectful manner and you show and you have the proof and you outline the things and you say, oh, look, I have the examples, X, Y, and Z. Here are the photos, here are the emails, here's what you did wrong, here's the policy, whatever it is. If you do it in a respectful manner, what do you think that teaches the employee? Okay, I know I did wrong, but there's proof and there's backup, and the way that the person is explaining it to me, it kind of makes sense, right? It's putting me in a situation where I can't even push back. Now, I know there's going to be employees who are completely crazy, who are going to deny everything, whatever. You just got to work through the management system there and not get rid of them, but go through the process. If it doesn't fix, then, it just means termination at the end. And lastly, it's just important to remember the impact that you make on your team, and it's critical for their future success as well, not just yours. How you treat them, how you guide them, how you lead them is worth a lot more. It's true, it's worth a lot more than your own personal success. Don't be a blue falcon. Don't throw people under the bus because you're gonna make yourself look better and you don't like this person or whatever. It's easy to focus on tangible rewards, it's true. And a high position brings probably a lot of tangible rewards and the opportunity to get more rewards in the future. But don't let that get to your head. You're just a person, just like everybody else. You can get in a car accident tomorrow, be in a wheelchair, maybe die, doesn't matter. That materialistic idea that you are better than someone because you have more is extremely toxic in the workplace. Focus on leaving a positive impact. I promise, the positive feedback you get from your team based on how you act towards them, when they tell you that they respect you, that they are grateful for having you, that you're a good manager, that is worth more than probably the salary or the position. Just focus on building connections, treating others with dignity, and leave a positive legacy behind. And at the end of the day, the employees will take care of you just as much as you take care of them. And that's it for today's video. Thank you guys for watching.